Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. In today's video I wanted to show you how I made this mini Ibloom inspired peach, including the packaging. So to start off with, I took a small piece of memory foam, and this was my old slow rising memory foam that I previously used for mini squishies, and what I did was I just drew out a rough kind of peachy type shape and I just shaped this out. What I did was basically just made long snips on one end so that it was pointed, and then rounded out the other end so that it was kind of round. I did this over and over and over until I was happy with my complete smooth shape. Once happy with the overall shape, I then took a felt liner, and what I did was I drew a line from the middle of the top about halfway down on one of the sides. I then took my scissors and cut this at an angle, and then what I did was I smoothed out each end by pinching the squishy open and then smoothing out each side of that cut that we just made. Once I smoothed out both sides and was completely happy with that little shape, I then took another off-cut piece of foam, and what I did was I just cut this out into a little leaf shape. I then hot glued this onto the top of the peach, and I just used my usual hot glue gun for this, but if you have other glue I would recommend using anything else but hot glue, because it does kind of leave a hard lump inside of it. Once the leaf was fully attached, I then moved on and mixed up some peachy coloured paint. I used white puffy paint with a dollop of red and a little bit of yellow inside, and I just kind of mixed this until I was happy with the colour. I then painted on the first coat all over the peach kind of body part, if that makes any sense, just everywhere apart from the leaf. As you can see here, on the first layer you will have little sponge like kind of texture, but with a couple of layers this should go. On your second layer, you'll want to put a slightly thicker layer of this, and the kind of little holes will kind of cover up. As you can see here, this was my second layer. The holes aren't so prevalent here, but you can still see them. I actually went ahead and did 4 coats of pink in total. What I then did was, when all the pink was dried, I then added some red to the excess paint that I had left over, and what I did was took another off-cut piece of sponge and just sponged this onto the bottom of the peach. I did this to kind of give it a more ombre effect. I then added some extra red into this paint again, and what I then did was add this to the very tip of the peach so that it was an even more kind of ombre effect, like I just said. Once all the pink had fully dried, I then mixed up a kind of light to medium green shade and just painted the little leaf. I did 2 coats of this colour in total, and again this was just mixed from my lime green puffy paint mixed in with a little bit of blue puffy paint. Once this was completely dry, I then moved on with the packaging. So what I did was I took a pink heart made out of card, which I cut just by drawing it out and cut it out with my scissors basically, and I then drew out a circle and cut this out from the middle. You'll want to make this circle big enough so that the peach can fit through. So once I had this shape, I then went with my Posca pen and just kind of drew out some little white blobs all over. It doesn't have to be neat if you're making this, just kind of make it like it. And I then did some pink kind of vines. I then realised that this pink colour wasn't bright enough and didn't really show up that well, so I then went in with a darker kind of pink gel pen and used that instead. I also added on some leaves and some more decorative little bits, and I also wrote out the words "I love peach" over on the left hand side and "Ibloom" along the bottom, kind of like the original packaging did. Once I was completely happy with that heart, I then added an eye pin to the top of the peach and added in one of those little ball chain things that you see on squishies. I then added this to the top of the heart in the little slits that I made, and then I popped it inside a clear cellophane bag. Once this was done, my squishy and its packaging was complete. So I'm super happy with how this little peach turned out. It's the first time ever making a peach. I'm super happy with the packaging, how that turned out, as that's my first ever time ever making a replica packaging, or even any packaging of my own. So yeah, I'm really pleased with how that turned out. It's super crinkly. I don't actually have any sound recorded because I'm trying to do my voice as much as possible, but it is super crinkly if you make it at home. Next, I went ahead and just squished my squishy for you. It didn't turn out super slow rising, but that's because I didn't kind of want to ruin it. But if you give it a really big squeeze, it does take a few minutes to kind of fold back out. So yeah, if you're looking for a slow rising squishy, this is definitely the one. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!